Hello. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Talk to Trina. I'm so excited to have you here. But before we get started, I want to say thank you to all of the medical professionals and first responders out there. Thank you for putting your health and safety on the line to serve others because it's greatly appreciated. And I know a lot of times you don't get the thanks that you deserve, but I want to say tonight, thank you. So I was thinking, just this time that we're going through today in the world has had me thinking. And as I was thinking and prepping for the show, I was thinking about how COVID-19 has not only changed our lives, but it's changed our way of doing business, and ultimately it's changing our way of leading. And I wanted to know and I started thinking about how things would be post COVID-19 and how will you continue to go forward. So if you are a current leader, emerging leader, or just someone who wants to learn how to deal with leadership, you're in the right place. My name is Trina Martin. I'm a speaker and consultant. I work with businesses and organizations that hire military veterans for leadership positions. I help those organizations bridge the gap between their veteran employee and the corporate leadership environment. I believe great leaders are developed. So going on and getting on with thinking about the times that we're in now, the pandemic that we're going through, we will get through this, and I know we will. This too shall pass, and we're going to come out of this. But how we once knew the world, life, doing business, and leading will never be the same again. And I started thinking about what have we learned, or what will we learn from this? Because even though we're going through this pandemic as an adversity, every obstacle, every hurdle that you go through in your life, business, whatever, there's always something to be learned from it. Now, whether you actually sit back and take stock and learn from it, that's up to you. But there's always something to be learned in the dark places. So I wanted to talk about what have we learned, some of the good things. And today I want to give you 3 tips on leading in the post-COVID-19 environment. So my first tip is genuinely caring about your team. And I know I've touched on that before about having empathy and caring, but I'm thinking with this that we're going through, if nothing else, this has brought us together. It has leveled the playing field because this pandemic does not have any respect of person. It doesn't care what race you are, how many degrees you have, how much money you make, because the rich as well as the poor, the educated as well as the less educated, we're all getting sick, and some unfortunately are dying. So genuinely caring about your team is something that I hope you take away from this. If you weren't doing it before, I hope you do it through this and after this. And if you were doing it before, I hope it just makes you appreciate your team even more. In my past, I've had supervisors to tell me, oh, you know what, I want you to succeed, or we're family. Well, I'm going to say 50% of people who tell you that really don't mean that. Because the people in my past who said, oh, I just want you to succeed, we're all a big happy family, they did everything but show me that. So it's in you actually showing and doing instead of just saying that's what we are and that's what you're going to do. So when I think about genuinely caring about your team, I think about a lady that I interviewed on my podcast, Trina Talk, who lives in Australia by the name of Belinda Jane, but she has her own company. And what I will never forget about her is the fact that she said every morning, regardless of what she's doing in her office, whether she's on a call or whatever, she blocks out a certain amount of time when she knows that her office is coming in, the start time, And she greets everyone coming in to work. She asks them how their night was, how they're doing, not to pry, but to show that she cares. How's their spouse? How's their children? How's their child in their sports activity? And I thought that that was something that was just brilliant, and that I said, you know what, I'm going to implement that in my business, because that shows people that you genuinely care. When you can actually call their spouse by name, or say, how's your son? How's your daughter? I had a supervisor that every time he saw me, he would ask me how my two sons were doing. How are your two sons doing? And, it really frustrated me, but it showed me that he didn't care about me, because I don't have two sons. I got a daughter and I got a son. So the first couple of times I corrected him. I said, no, I have a girl and a boy. And he said, oh, yeah. But then subsequently after that, he kept saying, oh, how are your two sons doing? So that let me know, one, you really don't care. And two, you weren't listening when I corrected you the first couple of times. So after that, it really made me see what type of person that is. So I'm hoping that COVID-19 has made you value people even more, your fellow, and not just your team, but your fellow man, your neighbors, your family members, and to treat people with more empathy and kindness, because tomorrow's not promised to us, and we never know what's going to come about that's going to take our lives or cause upset in them. Unfortunately, people have lost their lives during this time. Unfortunately, people have lost their jobs, and I know some people personally who have lost their jobs because they were in businesses that had to shut down, and there was no way that they could stay employed. So this world pandemic has really shifted the way we do things. So I want you to think about that. But then my second thing is, I want you to not just look at the negative of this time, but find something good. Find a process that came out of this that was good, that you will continue post COVID-19. And I listen to Gary Vee, and for those of you who don't know, Gary Vaynerchuk, he's a big marketing expert. He's out there on social media, but I listened to him, and he was saying that when this pandemic started and there was a shelter in place and stay at home order, that he was so totally against ever teleworking, and he never wanted his employees to do it. He said, but since he's been forced to do it, and he's learned Zoom, and they've been able to connect and communicate via Zoom, and he's found that he gets a lot of work done working from home. He said now he's going to implement like one day a month for his team to work from home, because he knows that he can keep in touch with them via Zoom. So during this time, what have you found that works? What have you had to shift to keep your business going, or to still have a presence of leadership? What have you had to do that has worked for you and is a good thing? So whatever that is, continue that. And then my third thing is, find an individual or a business or organization that you can mentor or sponsor. And that could be someone personally, someone for leadership, or if you're a big major corporation, maybe there's a small business that you can take their leadership under your wings and just teach them some of the things that you have learned during this time that will help them, so that whatever the next thing that may comes up, that they won't go into ruin, or just help them with leadership in general. And I'm thinking about, I'm in a lot of coaching groups, and I do a couple of masterminds, and I have found that one of the groups that I'm in has started discounting their services, because they knew that their services are what's needed for people to continue their business or work from home. So they've discounted that. They've started creating videos online and doing QAs every day, so that people can be live with them and ask questions. And like Zoom is offering their service for free for the next month or two or whatever it is. And there's different businesses doing things like that. And I'm thinking if we can do things like that in a time like this, we should be able to continue that and do it in when times are good. So I would suggest that you find, again, an individual, a small business, or help develop a leader by mentoring or sponsoring them in the post COVID-19 environment that will help them succeed at life and succeed at business. So those are the 3 tips that I wanted to give you today. So we talked about 1, about genuinely caring about your team. About 2, finding a process that has worked for you during this time and for you to continue. And then the 3rd one is finding someone to mentor and sponsor, whether it is a small business, an individual, or you're developing a person for leadership within your organization. So those are the 3 things that I was thinking about and I was pondering during this time and wondering about continuing on post COVID-19. So if you found this valuable and you have some comments or some questions to ask for our next live, which is next Friday, leave them in the comment below and let me know your thoughts, any questions that you have. But I just want to say, thank you for this time. Thank you for being here with me. You could have been so many other places, but you chose to be here and really go through and listen to what I have to say. And I'm very appreciative. And I just want you guys to just stay safe, stay healthy. And until next week, I'll see you then. So take care.